I think I'll go for I think he might start early, so we gotta be ready for that. Well, that's when he fights fighters like Zab Judah who don't get in shape for fights, and Manny Pacquiao does, and we won't get tired, believe me.
But will he be different from the Mayweather you fought with De La Hoya?
Yeah, I think he's older and slower.
To be a greatest is not based on your record undefeated, because there's so many fighters na nag-retire na undefeated.
Of Manny Pacquiao back at Wild Card, like he's never left, ready to go again, working with Freddie Roach. I feel like I'm back in 2010, the Wayback Machine. Pacquiao looked pretty good in some of the videos that I saw, like he wasn't in horrible shape.
Freddie Roach warns that Mayweather isn't prepared for what's coming. He says Pacquiao has sharpened every part of his game and will enter a rematch fully ready, focused, determined, and intent on winning decisively.
You said that you saw that Pacquiao has his fire back. Where did you see that move, or when did that come into your conscience?
When I watched him sparring for the first 2 weeks, it was just, you know, the in and out, the speed, making the guy, catching the guy 3-4 punch combination, getting out, making a miss. It was enjoyable to watch. It really was.
Pacquiao is shown training intensely with Freddie Roach on the mitts, fast hands, sharp combinations, and a steady rhythm that reflects discipline, focus, and determination as he prepares for the fight ahead. Pacquiao says he's coming to hand Mayweather the first loss of his career, intent on breaking the perfect 50-0 record and changing history.
Ano kaya advantage mo?
God willing, mag-anuan tayo, mag-isay lang tayo mabuti. Paghandaan na natin mabuti para magandang laban na may ipakita natin.
Freddie Roach looks back at the first fight and says Mayweather controlled the action, while Pacquiao was older, less sharp, and not close to peak condition.
A little more fire.
I don't know, you think about that it got to that point, and Floyd played the game. He played the waiting game, and he won.
Yes.
He got paid. He got Pacquiao at an age where he knew that his punches weren't going to hurt him.
Yes.
He could avoid him. And it was an older fighter.
It was, and when Pacquiao fought his last fight in Australia, after the fight, I said, Manny, I said, you know what? I says, I think being a senator and being a fighter at the same time is like maybe a little bit too much, because I said, you know, it's hard enough being a world champion fighter, or it might be just as hard being a senator. But I says, I think that you should strongly think about giving one of those up for now and choose the one that you like best. And he has not spoke to me since then.
Pacquiao says an undefeated record doesn't define greatness, pointing instead to his own 8 division titles as a rare achievement, one that stands alone in boxing history.
But at least I can claim na first 8 different weight division, which is the hardest accomplishment na in boxing.
And the only one.
The only one.
Division.
First, diba? Yung kumbaga, that's the hardest accomplishment in boxing ma-achieve. And also, yung blessings ng Panginoon na naging champion ako in 4 different decades. Do you imagine that? Bihira yung mangyari. First time in history na a fighter who became a champion in four different decades. So 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020. So bihira mangyari yan. So at least makaklaim ako ng gano'n.
Pacquiao criticizes Mayweather's persona outside the ring, describing him as boastful and overly materialistic. He suggests Floyd's public image reflects excessive pride, a fixation on wealth, and a lack of humility.
Now, in the beginning of this conversation, you say, I don't like boastful people. How was it like fighting Mayweather then? Did he get on your nerves? Because I feel like he's a little bit more boastful than the people you might be wanting to hang out with.
Yeah, he's boastful. I think his God is the material things, money, everything like that. I'm pretty with him because I want to share the word of God in him if he believe God.
Yeah, I've heard he's a generous man. I think he's done good things. I think, he kind of reminds me of like a lot of people are like this, by the way, including myself. I'm not just saying him. I'm including myself. The man who goes up to Jesus and says, what should I do to get into heaven? He says, sell all your belongings. And he walked away crying because he couldn't sell his belongings.
Exactly.
Pacquiao emphasizes dedication through intense training, framing it as proof that actions matter more than words. He keeps the focus on discipline, preparation, and relentless work rather than constant talk. Dan Patrick questions whether the demand for a Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch is truly as strong as people assume, suggesting public interest may not match the expectations, even with the history and star power attached to both legends.
And Floyd Mayweather is a boring fighter. I mean, the presentation is flashy, but he's a defense-first fighter. There's nothing to, when you watch him, you go, oh, okay, he didn't get hit again, and he didn't get hit again. Tactically, he's brilliant, but not exciting. So, hey, if you sign up for it, go get him. It'll be September, so maybe it's a slow night for you, and you go, well, maybe I'll just buy this fight. Let me see these two guys lean on each other. But I don't know if this has to do, boxers never retire. Sugar Ray Leonard told me this when I went to his first retirement in Baltimore, and he talked about fighters never retire. The phone stops ringing.
Roy Jones Jr. speaks with real admiration about Manny Pacquiao's brilliance, and he doesn't reduce it to power alone. He points to the constant motion, the unpredictable rhythm that never lets an opponent settle. Pacquiao, Jones explains, rarely stays still long enough to become a clean target, and that alone can create confusion even for the most skilled fighters. His footwork and angles open attacks from positions you don't expect, forcing defenders to turn, reset, and guess. Each step has a purpose, each movement setting up the next strike. And when an opponent hesitates, even for a moment, Jones reminds you that a fight can change instantly.
To get a victory. Now guys don't do that. Pac-Man, fortunately, is one of those guys who knows how to use the ring. So he don't stand in just one place and fight. With that being said, if his legs can hold up for 12 rounds, he's the guy to do it.
Jones adds that Pacquiao pairs speed with intelligence, reading reactions fast and adjusting in real time. That ability keeps him a step ahead, turning defense into offense in seconds. In Roy's view, Pacquiao's agility isn't only physical, it's mental, allowing him to adapt under pressure without losing rhythm. That rare mix of movement, speed, and awareness, Jones says, is what makes Pacquiao so dangerous and so unforgettable in boxing history.
He did.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, stop. What's the guy named in the wheelchair right now?
Paul Williams.
He could have fought him.
I don't think he would have beat.
I ain't say that. I say he could have fought him, though. You don't think? Hey, in my opinion, the only person that really had a chance in his weight class back then was Amir Khan. He wasn't touching Amir Khan. At the time, Amir had too good a feet. He wasn't fighting Amir Khan.
Amir was calling him out for years.
He wasn't fighting Amir Khan. Amir Khan had too good a feet. I already know this.
I just don't think he would have beat Floyd.
I ain't saying you don't know.
Yeah, he was young. He was fast. He was knocking people out.
You don't understand boxing like I do, though. Floyd, who Floyd was knocking out? Besides Pac.
Not at that time. Nobody.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if you ain't knocking people out, you got to catch Khan and knock him out, and you got to get out that shoulder. You got to chase Khan.
Patrick offers a thoughtful, slightly critical view of the idea of a Floyd Mayweather Jr. Manny Pacquiao rematch. He questions whether fans are truly demanding it or whether other motives are driving the conversation behind the scenes. He jokes that boxing can feel like it's entering an era where any retired legend could be summoned back, throwing out names like Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, and Mike Tyson, while his underlying concern remains clear. The sport may be leaning too heavily on nostalgia instead of building fresh, meaningful competition. Patrick also hints that financial pressure could be shaping these decisions, suggesting some comebacks may be less about legacy and more about money, raising doubts about what these high-profile matchups are really meant to accomplish.
But, maybe, financial issues could be affecting one or both of these fighters, and that's why you're doing it. I don't know why you watch this unless the undercard is really good. Maybe the novelty of being in that building, having a boxing match in the Sphere, but it's real. It's real. Does Conor McGregor get the winner of this fight? I mean, now, if Conor McGregor got to do MMA against Floyd, now that would be fun. That would have been interesting. But it was like, and then do one of the brothers, what are their names? The Paul brothers, do they get to fight somebody? I mean, is this where boxing is?
Yes.
How did we get here?
Patrick also questions the entertainment value, wondering whether audiences are being drawn more to the spectacle than to the fight itself. He notes that while the original bout generated enormous revenue, a repeat may not carry the same authenticity or the same urgency. Overall, his view challenges the direction boxing is taking, asking whether the sport is moving forward or simply reaching back into its past for profit.
Floyd was a brilliant businessman, but you start to read articles of, he's got things in foreclosure, and I can't imagine that you would lose Mike Tyson did. But then, we had people stealing right in front of him. That was the difference here. But with Floyd, I thought Floyd was like a Darrell Revis kind of businessman. So that's, if he's coming back because he needs money, that is sad. Yes, Todd.
How much money, and I don't understand the financial part of how they get millions of dollars to have these fights that supposedly are kind of ridiculous and it's like an exhibition nobody wants to see. How much of that money is based on who goes to the fight and as far as people that are buying pay-per-view? What if so many people decided I'm not going to the fight, I'm not going to watch it on pay-per-view, they're still going to get millions of dollars? There's still enough money out there to pay these guys crazy money without them?
Chris Mannix offers a reflective take on Manny Pacquiao returning to the gym with Freddie Roach, calling it a deeply nostalgic image for boxing fans. Seeing them together again, he says, pulls people back to an era when their partnership defined the sport. But Mannix urges caution about reading too much into short training clips. He notes that anyone can look sharp for a few seconds on video, and he points to examples like Mike Tyson appearing explosive in brief promotional footage. In Mannix's view, those moments can be misleading, and they shouldn't be treated as proof of full fight readiness.
Look, I can post a video and look good for 10 seconds right now, just like when Mike Tyson looked like when he was promoting the Jake Paul fight. You writers and you guys with the non-boxing, I need to get those videos out of your head, because they're just clips. Anyone could look good for that long. I can train you to look good for 10 seconds. It'll be pretty hard, but I can train you to look good for 10 seconds on video. So don't worry about that. Look, Bob Arum knows what he's talking about, because it's the legs that's going to get to Pacquiao, not the power, not the explosive speed in front of a heavy bag. But whenever you're in front of an opponent and he's going to be moving around, it's the legs that are going to fail you. They're going to betray you. The power's not going to betray you. That lasts until the very end. His punch resistance, that's not going to betray him, because that never goes. Speed, and it's because you rely on your legs. That's the thing that goes at age. So at 46 years old, Manny Pacquiao's not going to have zero legs.
That's it for today. Stay tuned. See you next time.